Kevin Hart done went 25 years without ever being in the same building with me at the same time. If I go in the building, he walk out. You've never seen us in the same building ever in 25 years. Like, it's like that. Why? Why?
Yes.
Because I'm really the product. It's not what you think. I am never under the influence of anything. I'm always in my right mind. I'm always a physical specimen. And when you see me, I'm much, much bigger than you had thought. I have far less play in me than you would like. And I'm relentless. I'm out there. I'm still, to this day, I play 11 games of basketball with a 20-year-old. The record is 92-6.
I really do not like Hollywood. It is not for me. The business really scares me. I understand that I'm a part of that business and I enjoy my kind of interactions with it. But that said, I am always looking for ways to kind of remove myself from it, to kind of just live as normal a life as possible. Today, doing this is a very rare thing for me to do. Yeah, I definitely think it has been an ongoing thought, which is don't lose yourself. I've seen so many people come before me and lose themselves, and I've had friends that I've grown up with that aren't friends of mine anymore because they've lost themselves to this business. And I just am really, really keen to focus on what makes me happy, which is my family, it's my friends, it's my carpentry, my golf, the charity that my mum runs. Like, that is the stuff that makes me really happy, and that's the stuff that I should protect. My relationship is the thing that I keep most sacred. I don't talk about it. I try my best to keep it as private as possible. We both feel very strongly that that is the healthiest way for us to move on as a couple. So I do try to keep as removed from it as possible. Like, you'll never see me at an award show that I don't have to be at. I'm never going to a red carpet event that I'm not in the film of, you know? I don't want the attention when I don't need it.
Judy Garland exposed how dark old Hollywood actually was. She explained how she was abused on the set of The Wizard of Oz by the producer. And she explained how she believed her mother traded Smecks for favors on set at MGM. She said her mom used her as a meal ticket and would drag her to all these different auditions and even force her to perform when she didn't feel well. She also explained how her mother is the one that got her hooked on substances, uppers when she needed to perform and downers when she needed to go to bed, because Judy Garland was known to make 10 or more films for MGM in 1 year. Judy Garland also explained during her first pregnancy that MGM thought that they were going to lose millions of dollars because she was pregnant. So MGM, her mother, and the father of the baby took her and forced her to have an abortion. And she explained how right after this, she was thrown right back into work way too early, but she had to continue making all these films. And it's so sad because everything that Judy Garland had to go through and how much Judy Garland actually had to work and how famous she was, she actually died broke. And I'm talking about broke enough to be homeless. But I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip so you guys can hear everything that Judy Garland had to go through while she worked in Hollywood. And you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Being Judy Garland is quite a chore.
This is a Judy Garland you've never heard before.
I want my money. I want it right now.
A Judy Garland no one has ever heard before. She recorded these tapes to help write an autobiography she'd never finish.
Every summer was in a storm for me. I better get it up.
These weren't delusions. She was broke when she recorded this. And not movie star down to my last Rolls Royce broke, homeless broke. No money to buy food broke.
That's why I'm supposed to be a legend, Judy Garland. All right, then read about it. Read the truth, though. And believe me, the way you believed me when I sang all the songs. Well, now I'm talking, and listen to me, for goodness sake.
Gerald Clark discovered this manuscript of a Judy Garland autobiography no one had seen before, buried in an archive at Columbia University. When she made The Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland was paid $500 a week. The only named player paid less, the Cairn Terrier who played Toto. He got $125, and he didn't have to fend off Mr. Mayor. Judy Garland's own words.
He'd say, "This girl is great, and the reason is that she sings from the heart.
and with that he'd always find my left breast with his hand. I often thought I was lucky that I didn't sing with another part of my anatomy.
Gerald Clark learned from a childhood friend that young Judy always suspected her mother traded sex for favors with producers and studio execs. Her mother drove her, sometimes dragged her to every studio in nearby L.A. In a 1967 interview with Barbara Walters, not even this great actress could disguise the anger she still felt toward her mother.
Did you have a stage mother, as we have heard about the stage mothers?
One that wouldn't quit. A mean one. She was very jealous because she had absolutely no talent. She would sort of stand in the wings when I was a little girl, and if I didn't feel good, if I was sick to my tummy, she'd say, "You get out and sing, or I'll wrap you around the bedpost and break you off short." So I'd go on and sing.
The price? She'd work non-stop. Today, a star makes one film a year. In her 10-year career at MGM, Judy made 10 films with co-star Mickey Rooney alone.
Her mother was the one who really got her hooked on drugs at the age of, about 8 or 9. Amphetamines first to get her up, going. And then barbiturates when she was up and going and had to sleep at night to be on stage the next day. Her mother looked upon her, I'm sorry to say, really, as a meal ticket.
When Judy got pregnant, she wanted a baby, but a pregnancy would have cost MGM millions. The studio convinced her husband and, of course, her mom. Though written in the third person, these are Judy Garland's words.
"Where are we going?" "Never mind," said Mother, "you'll see." They drove for about a half hour and pulled up in front of a dreary little establishment outside of town. Her mother took Judy by the hand, led her inside to a shabby little office. In a few minutes, David, her mother, and MGM were satisfied.
We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is, or what the truth is. So tonight, I'd like to dedicate this award to those who remind us of our virtues, who remind us of the truth. To Sir Charles Chaplin, who battled McCarthyism into exile. To Christopher Steele, who tried to pull a thorn out of the paw of an ungrateful beast. To Christine Blasey Ford, to Colin Kaepernick. He'll stand for the anthem when the anthem stands for him. And to one of my friends, my good friends, and one of the greatest artists of our time, Robert De Niro, whose life was threatened also this week, along with many other incredibly decent people who bring joy to the world.
People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Talking of all you it was a big year for movies. Shut up. Shut up. I don't care. I don't care. Many talented people of colour were snubbed in major categories. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that. The Hollywood foreign press are all very, very racist. 5th time. And it's still more fun than this, okay? Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't himself, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care.
Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it! I didn't, you did it!
Dave Chappelle explains why Hollywood contracts are evil.
Do you know why Prince, the famous rock star that was a friend of mine, do you know why he called himself the artist when he came back? He calls himself the artist because that's what they call us in our contracts. Oh, these contracts are crazy. You should hear the terminology they say in these contracts. To use your name and likeness in perpetuity throughout the universe. Who the fuck could possibly know what that means? Nobody does. It's so complicated, in fact, that when you're a kid like me, you have to hire somebody to tell you what that means. And you sit down at a table and you do the contract game. And that's how I got with Comedy Central. I signed the contract. But I signed the contract the way that a 28-year-old expectant father that was broke signs a contract. I was desperate. I needed a way out. And it wasn't good money and it wasn't good circumstances. But what else am I gonna do, I said. And all these white people sitting at that table told me, trust us, Dave, it's a good contract. And I looked around the table and they all seemed to agree it was a good contract. But what if it was like that game of 3-Card Monte? What if they were all friends and I didn't know it? This fucking industry is a monster. It's the same monster that these Me Too bitches was trying to tell you about. But they hate the monster for how it fucks. And I hate that monster for how it eats. But my God, man, it's the same monster. I'm up here doing something that nobody else in this business has the balls to do. I'm telling you something that you need to know. I'm trying to explain to you what you're seeing. You don't understand what you're seeing. I am publicly flogging a network. And I know that this network niggas, they watching me and they saying, why are you doing this so publicly? Doesn't feel good to be flogged publicly. Oh, believe me, I know. I know exactly how that feels. When I quit my show, they said I was crazy. What was crazy about it? I just didn't want to do it anymore. They said I smoked crack. That's impossible. I was a devout Muslim. I didn't smoke or drink. But I do now, bitch, because you ruined my fucking life. Now it's their turn. This is their first nigga lesson, and I'm honored to give it to them.
By the way, this video is scripted and for entertainment purposes only. Stay weird.
Tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah, not in the same way. It's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about it.
It's the big secret.
And it's widespread?
Oh yeah. I was surrounded by them when I was 14 years old. Surrounded. Literally. Didn't even know it. It wasn't until I was old enough to realize what they were and what they wanted and what they were about and the types of people that were surrounding me till I went, oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
Tunnels under Hollywood.
Okay.
Do you believe in them? Do you think they exist?
They are real.
Really? I knew I would
Now
get...
I'm just pissed I'm not invited.
There's so many different tunnels because...
Do you think celebrities really use them? Do you think people really use them?
Yes.
You think it's the 1%? Like you think it's just like the...
It's definitely the 1%. We built our city on top of a city that kind of already existed, so there's just a lot under there. And the problem is I've been invited to these scenarios. I've felt like the sickest, most led feeling ever, and I've never gone down those routes.
Obviously believe all of this Diddy stuff is real and darker than it's even shown.
Yes. I'm glad people are finally seeing it. I think it's because all we do is know his music and he's great. We actually see someone as a monster. It's like, holy, like, yeah. I
Kim
think
Porter, right?
they offed her, absolutely. Allegedly. Yeah.
Does it ever scare you to say things like this?
No,
But I guess...
I have no fear, which is why I don't think they've taken me out.
a while where people really thought you were Illuminati.
I'm not sure.
We may still hang out sometimes. I'm just not going to be a Hollywood puppet and entertain anything dark or leak. Tried to blackmail and coerce me over and over and over to do horrible things, and I'm just not a horrible person.
Most feared men in Hollywood. They don't like me in Hollywood. Why do they not like you? I don't wear dresses. I don't do that gay stuff on TV. They had to get some other black person to do that stuff. I'm talking, that's gunning. But they all confess they love the Lord. But you cannot compromise yourself if you love the Lord. So I play tough guys, but young kids want to be soldiers. Young kids don't want to follow a guy that wear a dress. You know what I'm talking about.
Wanna be a star, sell out concert tickets. A mansion in a Hollywood subdivision. You get the fame on the one condition. You get copied at the clone center. They kill them with a comment in it. Overdose from a drug addiction. Same story, same headline. A stroke, a heart attack, an aneurysm. Celebrities and politicians. Just to name a couple members. Rituals and pedophilia. Sacrifices, blood religion. The Queen of England got arrest warrants for the disappearance of a dozen children. Do your research on the topic. At the same time, every year, kids come up missing.
De Niro's building a $1
billion studio. How is that going to make money? What's the business plan? Is it over 30 years? That's my question.
De Niro's 81, isn't he? Like, what? How old is De Niro?
But that's what I'm saying. In the rating system of Hollywood, PG-13, rated R, which rating is the most profitable?
I would say PG.
Wrong. It's G. The children's films that are animated stories like Cinderella are the most profitable in all of Hollywood, and yet they're 30% of the production. So why would the system make 70% of something that doesn't make as much as the 30%? Why? Because it's spiritual. Because the devil runs Hollywood. And he wants that negative 70% to teach your kids all these other things. But the 30%, which makes the most money, is happiness and loving your mom and dad, and they make the most money. Why would Hollywood make less of the most profitable?
It's dark and demonic energy that this industry was built on. And people manipulate young women, they manipulate kids, and at the end of the day, it's all for the dollar and all to feed their ego. So I've seen some shit where you be like, that's just not right. Like, that's just, that person shouldn't be talking to that person. That person shouldn't be in the room with that person alone. When you're in this position to change people's lives, and you hold the keys to what they consider success, you see a different aspect of the person. People will do anything to achieve their goals, and then people will manipulate and misuse that energy to get what they want.
Everything that Nick Cannon said in this interview explains exactly how Hollywood is. He explained how people manipulate people when they're coming up and rising into fame. And we've seen this with people such as Harvey Weinstein and others. He also explains his own experiences where he's seen things that he just doesn't believe is right. And what's even more disheartening, he talks about how the industry manipulates kids. So drop in the comments and let me know what you guys think of everything Nick Cannon said in this interview.
So this story is the reason I stopped making content for 5 years. You guys remember when all those Vine stars and skit Instagrammers moved to LA in like 2015-ish? So I wasn't a huge creator at the time, but I was there and around it all as all of that stuff was happening. I moved from Chicago to LA 3 weeks after high school with like $2,000 in my pocket that I saved up working at Steak and Shake with this other aspiring creator named David. I was much more into editing and being behind the camera at that time, and he was much more into Vine and vlogs and being on camera. That time of our lives was absolutely crazy. Everybody was broke, posting anything we could onto YouTube to get some attention. I happened to get a spot at the now notorious 1600 Vine Apartments, and David got a spot a little bit closer to USC. Everyone was collaborating with everyone, and it was the era of clickbait YouTube. And to be honest, it was extremely fun for the first few months, until Hollywood started to notice that influencers were the next big thing, and that the landscape of the industry was changing. And we started to get invited to more exclusive parties and events, where it seemed as if old Hollywood was almost grooming new Hollywood. And there was rumors of this one gathering that was happening on a monthly basis, where it seemed like anybody that got invited saw a massive jump in their numbers, secured huge brand deals right after attending. But apparently this gathering worked on a buddy system. Someone had to vouch for you and bring you as a guest. And by blind luck, me and David ended up getting invited. Some talent agents saw me and David shoot a silly skit at a random party. He didn't invite us that second, he just told us that he saw something special in us and took our contact information. And listen, people do that all the time in LA, but this guy had a different feel to him. He wasn't trying to convince us he had connections or hype himself up like everybody else does. He was just super calm and had a sharp way of speaking that demanded respect. He was extremely brief, and after getting our numbers, he just said, "Look out for the invite," and walked away. And this is where it gets weird. I never gave this guy my address, I only gave him my number, but I ended up getting an invitation by letter. And at the time, I thought that that was so cool. But in retrospect, as an adult looking back at it, that alone was a huge violation of privacy and a major red flag. But at the time, when I tell you I was absolutely buzzing with excitement. When I got it, the letter was so extravagant and detailed. It was gold with black and red lettering that read something like, "Your talents have been noted, your name has been endorsed, and I'll never forget this part. The dreams you have been chasing are a night away through the 7th seventh heaven. And the address was a beautiful home in Laurel Canyon that was set to happen that weekend. It also noted to not be a minute late and not to expect to leave before midnight. And at the time, it felt like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. And the excitement doubled when I got a text from David at the same time, in all caps saying, "Did you get one too?" I felt like our lives were about to change. And I was right. David blew up after this party, and I had to go into hiding. I felt like our lives were about to change. And I was right. David blew up after this party, and I had to go into hiding. When I tell you I was on cloud 9 leading up to that party, I mean it. I was so young and naive and delusionally optimistic. I truly believed that I was going to go to this party and leave rich, because it literally seemed like that was happening to the creators around me that attended. I was hyped. I've never been a braggy person, but when you're young and excited, you get consumed by good news and want to talk to your friends and peers about it. So everybody that I chatted with who I knew was a content creator and was in the know about this party, I couldn't help but to tell them. And all the feedback was positive and along the lines of, "Let me know how it goes," or "Can you try to get me into the next one?" And even some from bigger creators saying, "I'll see you there," with like a little smirk on their face, like they were pumped for me. Except for one conversation with a creator that most of you probably know. This creator is an extremely positive guy, and he's one of the most wholesome, bubbly, genuine guys I met out there. And when I told him the good news, he looked at me like I told him a tsunami was headed towards the building. The usual joy that this man brought to every conversation turned into real fear and concern, and he made me leave the lobby and come up to his apartment before explaining anything to me. Like he was scared that somebody was going to overhear our conversation. When we got up to his apartment, he was just pacing, like he had no idea how to start this conversation. But when he finally spoke up, all he said was, "Listen, Doug, I know you're excited, but I'm begging you, please do not go. That man is not who you think he is." He was being so frantic, and I could see tears welling up in this guy's eyes. But I was young, and I thought that I knew everything. I didn't even think the talent agent that sent us the invite was important. I was interested in the connections, and I didn't really care if the talent agent was shady, or if his intention was to sign me to a bad deal. I thought I'd just say no to any bad contract that he tried to send me, but still get to reap all the benefits of the party. So I tried to pry a little bit and ask follow-up questions, but all he gave me was, "I have a friend who went, and he hasn't been the same since he didn't cooperate. I don't know what he saw or what they did to him, but Doug, I do not want to see that happen to you."
I'm here, and you'll be the greatest guitar player who ever lived. All it'll cost you is your soul.
Okay, you got yourself a deal.
And just so you know, with this purchase of a soul, I will also give a soul to a child in need.
Yeah, I don't want that.
It's no additional cost to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my way of giving back, out of my end.
Seems like it's probably baked into the price.
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, then you're gonna do a lot to get there, like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil.
Hollywood Records contract, and I'm signing it to have my first record ever and selling my soul to Hollywood Records.
You're a puppet.
Oh, he sold his soul. She sold his soul. If you sign that contract, you sign the contract and got that money, you sold your soul. Period. Point blank period. As soon as you sign that contract, you sold your soul.
About drinking blood
today, huh?
I guess drank each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes.
Just for the ritual.
Only.
You know.
It is used for a reason, and it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it. He's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just like cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul. Let me bleed on you. It doesn't not happen, let me tell you. Maybe not exactly like that, but a version of that has happened many times.
This is what a midlife crisis looks like. And the thing that's funny about Megan Fox is that she notoriously went on a rampage against her ex-husband, Brian Austin Green, because he published a photo of him with his kid. They're about to go to like a soccer game, and she's like, "No photos of our children on the internet," like she's a good parent. Oh, okay, but you're gonna be on the internet as the mother of this child talking about drinking the blood of your 20 years younger boyfriend, however much younger he is. Like, this is disgusting. It's satanic, it's demonic, but it's just like the stupidity behind like, I'm protecting my kids because I'm gonna be the person that's a knucklehead out on Instagram talking about drinking blood like, you know, like I'm a, you know, Satan worshiper.
People are saying that this is unusual behavior. This is so crazy and weird and unusual. This, from the standpoint of world history, this is not unusual. This is the norm. Drinking each other's blood and having all sorts of weird rituals and human sacrifice, that is the norm throughout every civilization in the history of the world until the ancient Israelites come down and say there is a God and we know his name, and then Jesus comes as the embodiment, as the incarnation of that God, and says, hey, stop doing all this weird stuff. And it's just so funny that the libs accuse Christians of being superstitious and weird and backward, and yet they go with their crystals and their blood sacrifices and their weird behaviors. They're the ones that are going even further back than any of us old-timey conservatives.
So here's the other possibility, is that she is making all this up because she told Rolling Stone, for example, that she likes to make stuff up just to mess with journalists. So there is a possibility there is that, but it's so irresponsible. Even if you're faking this just to, Donny Osmond.
Hollywood is evil.
Tell me why.
No, just listen. I love you.
Has it always been, or is it now?
Always.
Okay.
So that means in the spiritual aspect of it, which you pay attention to.
Sure.
All these guys are building studios now. De Niro, Wahlberg, everybody's on this tsunami wave of what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
What if the technology changes? What if I can do it right in this room? What if I can make a whole movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger right here on an app? I'm being an a-hole to make a point. I've learned it's changed so much. The most important thing is the storytelling. I just, on the flight over here, literally the flight you brought me on, I watched Jerry Maguire.
One of my all-time favorites.
They don't make them like that anymore, Patrick. Why?
What I will say is that one particular party, lots of big names, there was an artist there who said, hey, Lecrae, around 1 a.m., make sure you're not here. You just don't want to be here at 1 in the morning. Now, my pride kicked in, like, yo, you don't know me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can handle myself. Like, I'm not some little church boy who ain't never seen nothing. Like, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what you talking about? Well, it's probably 12:30. I'm downstairs. I go downstairs to the studio. I come up out the studio. The music changed. It was like really hard and heavy at first. And then, and on my way upstairs, there's like this couch. And on the couch, I saw a couple of guys really going at it hard and heavy, man. And I was like, oh, as I started moving upstairs, I passed them up and I noticed that it wasn't just those two guys. It was more and more people just going at it. But at this particular party, Brandon T came up to me and he said, yo, man, like Satan will steal your soul in this industry, bro. And he was really like, he's like, I love your soul and your spirit and I want you to thrive, Craig. I don't want you to get devoured out here. And I just appreciated that because for him, he was like, he had seen some detriments and some of the dark side of things.
Lives destroyed, but you're also seeing lives that have been deeply troubled.
Look out, the Hollywood elites are out for blood. And they've got two names on their list, Mel Gibson and Mark Wahlberg. This is the price they're paying for exposing the dark side of the industry.
To say that Hollywood is a cult.
Stay tuned to find out all the skeletons that Hollywood is trying to bury. Ask yourself, why would Hollywood studios work together to thwart the release of an eye-opening movie highlighting the horrors of abuse? What purpose could that possibly serve? Hint, it's the same reason why two of Hollywood's superstars are coming under fire. The masks are off. The industry is dabbling in some shady business, and Mel and Mark won't stand for it any longer. A small but mighty group of Hollywood insiders has sworn war on the evil entertainment business, and Mark Wahlberg told hundreds of attendees at a school meeting in Los Angeles that Hollywood elites have nowhere left to hide. Or at least we'd hope. Jim Caviezel and Mel Gibson, according to Wahlberg, are American heroes with balls of steel because they dared to challenge the Hollywood establishment and contribute to bringing attention to the disease of abuse among the elites in the entertainment industry.
Respect. Jesus.
He made it crystal clear that people who threaten to reveal the vile practices of the elites will face the harshest repercussions in Hollywood. But he doesn't care anymore. Wahlberg claimed he had heard rumors about these kind of events in Hollywood and was aware that studio execs dabble in all sorts of evils, but he'd never been directly confronted with it. Wahlberg complains that the good guys are recruiting in numbers and that a civil war is about to break out in Hollywood, which will bring the entire system to its knees. It's not just him, though. More allegations have been made by celebrities and musicians revealing the ugly truth of the entertainment business elite. Both Corey Feldman and Elijah Wood have publicly denounced the evil acts that permeate Hollywood. In fact, Elijah Wood claimed that youngsters are taken from innocent people in order to appease people with parasitic interests who see you as their prey. Wood revealed some shocking details about the abusers who govern the business in an interview.
And, you know, working in this industry, it can push you in a lot of different directions that are not necessarily...
Stating that clearly something major is going on in Hollywood. Now, Wahlberg has made it his life's work to expose the abusers that, in his words, have corrupted Hollywood to the core and keep destroying the lives of innocent children.
You're 16. Where does your inspiration come from?
Believe it or not, being 16, I've been through a lot, so...
Come on, how much heartbreak can you have at 16?
We were hooking up, but I said, hey, this is not going any further. I'm a virgin, and I don't want to lose it this way. And that didn't matter to them. They did it anyways. And I internalized it, and I told myself it was my fault because I still went in the room with him. I still hooked up with him. Here was the thing. I was a part of that Disney crowd that publicly said they were waiting till marriage. I didn't have the romantic, first time with anybody. That was not it for me, and that sucked. And then I had to see this person all the time.
Stop what you're doing and listen to this.
Since Me Too began in 2017, the music industry has largely avoided the same kind of scrutiny that other industries have had. Why do you think that is?
Well, because the Me Too movement was a ruse. It was a setup. It was a scam. I'm saying that now, publicly. Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there. If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
Guess they on vacation.
If y'all really want to know what happens behind these closed Hollywood doors, watch this movie, Mulholland Drive. It's fucking crazy, and I'm going to tell you why. So the movie starts with this woman. Her name is Rita. She's in a fucking limousine trying to go where she's trying to fucking go, and she gets hit by a fucking car. Like, they get into a whole accident, and when she leaves the car, she has no idea who the fuck she is, what she was doing, and where she was trying to go. She then breaks into this bitch's grandmother's apartment. This bitch name is Betty. She breaks into Betty's grandmother's apartment. Betty finds out and she's like, oh my God, I didn't know my grandmother had a guest. And Betty is like this quintessential Hollywood wannabe actress. She just wants to chase her dreams. She's new to LA. She won a fucking dancing competition so she can come out here and explore the real Hollywood dream. And we'll get more into this later on. So Betty and Rita, they try to figure out who the fuck Rita really is. They don't really know her real name. She just came up with the name Rita. So they're trying to figure out who she is. And Rita has a name in her mind and she just says the name Diane Selwyn. So they try to figure out, oh my God, is Diane Selwyn actually Rita? So while they're doing all this, Betty's ass auditions for a fucking movie. So Betty goes to this big Hollywood studio and she auditions for this film, and she is literally killing it. She's the best actress they fucking seen. She is this part, and she literally impresses the casting directors, the producers. She even goes so far to make out with the I guess the producer or the writer. And you think, okay, she has the shit in the bag, but no. This shit gets fucking crazy. Hold up. Because throughout the entire fucking film, like, you see characters have like secret meetings in dark ass rooms. They pull out a picture of this bitch. Her name is fucking Camilla. They keep saying she's the girl. She's the girl to pick for the new fucking film. We never see Camilla talk. We never hear her lines. We don't really know much about her, but we know that everyone in this Hollywood conspiracy behind these films, they keep saying she is the bitch to like choose. So, long story short, Betty and Rita, they actually go to the woman Diane Someone's apartment. They break into this fucking bitch apartment and they find a dead body. They find a complete dead body, and it's fucking crazy. There's a part 2 coming soon because this film has so much fucking shit going on, y'all. I can't really get into it in like 3 minutes. So let me know if you want a part 2.
What did they do after they got signed on these labels? They tattoo their whole body. Why you think they do that, yo? Just to be different? Nah. They did that because they was raped. They anal to be in this truth of the music industry, showing their honors to the people that's before them. That's the truth of the industry, that you're willing to take a man's penis in his anal. That's the truth. Okay? And when they did that, they just didn't do it one time. They did multiple times. And the only way they feel like they can get their dignity back is to tattoo their body to make them feel like I still have my manhood. What you think they did to B12, man? BK. They raped them boys, man. They popped them immature. They raped them boys. They literally raped them boys, dude. It's just the truth. Some people can handle the truth and some people can't. We don't care. But it's time to start looking at things with both eyes open and not both eyes shut, because the truth is the light, man. It's this cat that want to be a part of the rap game so bad, man. He looked like he would kill his mama to get a hit record. Rick Ross signed this guy on YouTube. And when Rick Ross signed that dude, man, as wicked as Rick Ross is, now you know Rick Ross is wicked as hell. He did not want to sign that brother. When that dude signed that contract with Rick Ross, and Jewmaker hit it right on the point. He looked at that contract, man. He just shook his head, but you can see in his eyes. He just had a look where all bets are off. Like, God damn, another brother gone. You see what I'm saying? But them demons got to be fed, man. He has to do it.
I'll let you in on a little something, but I'm not going to drop names.
Okay.
But I'll never forget, these are black producers, a guy named Kevin Brown and Andre Brown, and he was later on 30 Rock, but they would come to us and they would tell us about vanity and losing your mind in Hollywood and be careful. And they came back from Hollywood to try and expand us. And they sat us down, they're like, you ain't going to believe what we saw. I'm like, what did you see? And they said, we saw so-and-so, huge name, so-and-so, huge name, and so-and-so, big name back in the day, chicken hawking at a party. And I went, what? See, you're white. I said, what's chicken hawking? Everyone like, he's white. He don't know chicken hawking. I said, what's chicken hawking? That's when you hanging out with boys that are transvestites. I went, what? What? Yeah. See, now you're telling stories. Yeah. But I never forgot that. 3 years later, this name, ping. Huh.
Busted chicken hawking.
Whenever God is mentioned at the Grammys, or God is mentioned at the Oscars, or football games, basketball games, or when you get $100 million contract, I want to just thank God, because without God and my mom and my family, I mean, it's kind of it. They don't talk about God no other time publicly other than a big moment happening. And yet, people are worshiping the devil publicly all year long. The whole music video had devil worshiping in it. Y'all see it. Y'all see what's going on. So at the end of the day, man, I just had to really realize, like, wow, man, Denzel Washington does not do an interview on a red carpet or a sit-down interview. He does not do any interviews without at some point transitioning into talking about the goodness of God.
If you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God.
Don't care anymore. I'm joking. I never did. So let's go out with a bang. Let's have a laugh at your expense, shall we? Remember, they're just jokes. But tonight isn't just about the people in front of the camera. In this room are some of the most important TV and film executives in the world. People from every background, but they all have one thing in common. They're all terrified of Ronan Farrow. He's coming for you. He's coming for you. Look, talking of all you perverts. Spoiler alert, season 2 is on the way, so in the end, he obviously didn't kill himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Shut up! I know he's your friend, but I don't care. To make your own way here in your own plane, didn't you? Once upon a time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere, and by the end, his date was too old for him. So, even Prince Andrew's like, come on, Leo, mate. It's the last time, who cares? Apple roared into the TV game with a morning show, a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney, in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Our next presenter starred in Netflix's Bird Box, a movie where people survive by acting like they don't see a thing. Sort of like working for Harvey Weinstein. You did it. I didn't. You did it.
Hollywood is darker than you think.
Does the devil walk amongst us?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Everywhere, especially in Hollywood.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into it. Man, what's going on in Hollywood?
Lots of weird.
Get into it. I mean, do we think the devil lives there?
I think the devil lives within a lot of people that live in Los Angeles specifically.
Don't you live in Hollywood?
I do, and I want to get the F out of there ASAP.
Okay, look. Now we understand. The devil won't let me.
Yeah.
The devil won't set me free.
Literally, I'm trapped.
It's the mark of the beast. Hey, what do you think? Hey, would you take the mark if you could have your cell phone inside your body or never have to call?
Take the mark. Take the mark for a Grammy right now.
For a Grammy?
I'd like to first of all thank the devil.
Don't forget to like and follow and stay weird.
When parents enter the entertainment industry, they are typically entering the industry because their child has asked them to, because it's a dream of their child, or because someone has approached them and said that their child was somehow suited to the industry. They don't have any idea how the industry really works.
A lot of kids I knew had gotten emancipated because of they wanted to have the studio see them as an adult, so they wouldn't have to pay for set teachers and have to have their parents on set, etc. Like, you're more likely to be hired that way.
The actor is responsible for their headshot and their resume. So my pet peeve is the actor that comes in and says, oh, my mom has that in the waiting room. Your mom should never have your headshot and resume unless she's picking them up from the print shop. Once you are 8, you are responsible for your own career.
Why do you think this celebrity is avoiding Hollywood parties?
Kai Cenat got invited to Michael Rubin's all-white party by Aiden Ross, but for whatever reason, Kai didn't want to go.
Yo, check this out, look. This is Michael Rubin's all-white party for July 4th. Would you like to go with me? No. wait, no? I got invited to the other one. I said nah. Oh, you're going to another July 4th party? No, I got invited to the last Michael Rubin. Why didn't you go? Because, I don't know, I didn't want to go.
You know why
if you're not doing anything July 4th, would you want to go to the all-white party? Wait, you got invited to the all-white? Yeah. GG's in the chat. Hey, just keep tagging, make sure you got... Do you want to go with me? Oh. Come on. July 4th is when we do fireworks and shit, bro. It's what? Oh, that is true. That is true. Okay, makes sense. All right, bro. Thank you. Shit, I'm gonna have the time of my life.
Kai Cenat is not trying to be violated. That's why he's not going to these parties. Let me know what you think in the comments below and stay weird.
Of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on, because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be, because a whole place can't be like, you know, Weird Town, you know, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them, and and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill, and it's like that. And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like, could it? And then you find out later on the track that you are exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time, and you think, no, he came to see me on a rooftop in New York. I said, hey, can I talk to you? And he said, sure. And he floated in, sideways, through a crowd of people. He was wearing black. And it was like one of those old vampire movies where they don't walk, but they glide. And he was a dancer, you know, so he has he's very, you know, graceful. And he moved sideways, and he just sat down in a chair next to me. And it kind of frightened me. And he's a very smart guy. And we started talking, and I didn't, you know, say much of anything about reading the script, nothing. I just started talking about the Middle Ages, and he began to talk tortures. And we swapped tortures, because I'd read this book on torture, and I tried to recall some of the most heinous things I'd ever read in this book, and he was like, oh, and he'd try and top it. And and my assistant was there, and he left because he couldn't stand it anymore. The air had turned cold. And then he left, and I wanted to leave. And because I knew that I didn't want to work with him. And he was getting scary. And there's a producer I know, successful producer, I will not mention names, but his whole opinion about women on film, from beginning to end, is very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa, whoa. The man has got a spiritual malady for a start. I mean, the scary thing is that I think a lot of people think that.
So there's a conspiracy theory about a movie that came out last year. It's called The Sound of Freedom. That whole thing is trying to give awareness about child trafficking. The theory is that everyone who's gone into movies to watch it, the movie theaters have like teamed up trying to stop it and reject people from entering. And people say the reason Barbie came out at a similar time as this film was to distract people and keep them away from watching this film. They were trying not to sell tickets, etc. Like, there's an instance where it's like someone tries to buy tickets, they said it's fully sold out. Another where someone goes inside the actual theater and just nobody there. And then it said that they were sold out.
There's no one in here. And then it said that they were sold out.
Another one, the guy comes in, he's like, oh, we have to download the movie. It's gonna take an hour. He says we can give you your money back or something like that. They're trying to stop them from watching it. And the two main ones they have been doing, turn off the AC so it's hot as hell. Why is it only this one though? Not all the other movies? The lights, when it goes on, the lights stay on the whole time and people complain. So they don't want to stay there and watch the whole thing. There's a deeper conspiracy into that.
They don't even hide it anymore.
The season premiere of SNL with Ice Spice.
Ooh, look at us, 3 Gen Z icons.
Aren't you like 40?
No. Long time ago I met this guy and made a deal where I get to stay 25 years old for forever.
What guy?
Tall fella, horns, red fur, I don't know, little hooves.
Keen, that's the devil, dude.
What? I thought it was like a Times Square Elmo or something.